Good morning, you all. It's a crisp, clear morning here at Oshkosh and a wonderful week, great weather. I am Adriana, founder of FlyORKA and former flight test engineer. FlyORKA is the difference between flight training today and the future of flight training. And to help me explain how, I am going to share how flight test is done. Flight test is known for taking brand new aircraft and making them fly safely. From the very first flight until passing all certification requirements, every flight is observed, recorded, shared, and assessed. Where those involved with the new product apply their own genius to allow the new aircraft to fly safely. And that's exactly what we do. Every aspiring pilot wants to fly safely. They want to become a capable pilot in a way they can feel proud of. Our technology provides students and instructors with the mechanics to observe, record, share, and assess every flight sortie, just like flight test. Our technology is designed to unleash their genius, to learn and diagnose. So why do I do this? Looking at industries where product quality is mortality, such as aircraft development, one finds a proactive process at the operational level. This creates a continuous feedback loop that ensures that unsafe products never reach the consumer, and that the product is a great product because we all care about our brands and reputation, and obviously we want to be proud of our competence. But this feedback loop is missing in flight training. The average PPL student is spending about $10,000 in avoidable extra training to meet PPL standards, repaying for flight training effectively almost twice. Students currently are experiencing many handoffs, and instructors are going to get poorly documented skill gaps and next action steps. Some students may have up to 12 instructors during their program at worst. And students, they want to know if they have a gap in their competence that could be deadly. They want to know that they are capable. They want to know themselves, their limitations, and so that they understand what their capabilities are. Weak persistence and the transferability of assessment information across lessons and instructors contributes to training pathway abandonment. FlyORKA provides a versatile feedback loop designed for process reliability. Unlike, so FlyORKA stands for fly, observe, record, know yourself, assess, and adjust. When you FlyORKA again and again and again, you create clarity, confidence, and momentum to progress. We call it the flight training efficiency system. training efficiency allows you to understand what's happening and what to do next to build competence, which in turn makes everyone more successful. Unlike generic tracking tools, logbooks, social media platforms, and school management systems, FlyORKA is all about continuing and multiplying progress with actions that move the needle. FlyORKA helps you stay on the same page, document the flight training journey from beginning to end, and follow through with instructors, your buddies, and anyone who cares. FlyORKA makes flight training visible and the process something you can engage with. We launched the FlyORKA app in 2024 and have continued to improve it since then. Beyond the app, we support the creation of the context that's required for the future of flight training. We do this through the development of agency for instructors, for students, through workshops on flight training efficiency, student success, progression, and diagnosis. This week I'm teaching several sessions here at Oshkosh. I do those also through online, and so it's available beyond the application. This is our first time exhibiting at Oshkosh. It is a big step. I feel like I arrived crawling to the booth because we've been working very hard, and being here at Oshkosh has been very energizing. But our booth is in Hangar B, and if you want to stop by, you can find us there and the team over in Hangar B. And I wanted to leave some room for questions for you all guys. If you have any questions, we can bounce ideas.
How long have you been an instructor, and how many students have you had?
Okay.
Basic.
I became a certified flight instructor in 2019. Yeah, I think so. And most of my flight hours have been dedicated to ab initio pilot training, tailwheel endorsements, and soaring. So if you look at my logbook, most of my flying is on light airplanes, either teaching or flying gliders.
I'm assuming from that experience, what is the best timing? I know it's dependent upon schedules and money, but if you had the perfect setup, what would you tell a student to try to schedule for? Like, once a week is probably too far apart. Would something like maybe twice a day for 2 days each week, or?
Yeah, one of our workshops on how to help students create the space for success. We talk about, what are the key levers that are going to drive efficiency and progress. We talk about training efficiency, and we talk about training frequency. You are asking about training frequency, and one thing that we do highlight is basically how the mathematics of training frequency, and how training just once a week basically translates into it's almost not possible to complete training if you just show up once a week, and showing how the minimum will be training twice a week, and ideally having you on the schedule 3 times a week. Shall anything happen, you will have the frequency required to make progress. Now with efficiency, the cool thing about efficiency is that we have more levers that we can control to affect training efficiency, and some of those things are through the actions we can take, right, that actually move the needle, and those are the FlyORKA pulls you back to the things that matter. So understanding the complexity of flight training and helping students and instructors understand that really if you have fancy curriculums or lesson plans with whistles, and it really nothing matters unless if you lose track of the ORKA actions every flight sortie. So this will be your ability to be able to observe and make the most of every flight, and extract the learning from that flight, and setting preparation, right? Preparation for along the journey. Thus, so training efficiency and frequency is just one part of the education workshops we do to start creating agency and understanding of, hey, what are the key things you need to understand to avoid frustrating struggles as a student.
I'm just listening. I don't have any questions, but I respect what you're doing.
Yeah, so interesting enough, we pivoted twice. We started FlyORKA, focused on connecting students with career instructors, and along the journey, we as a former flight test engineer, things started to click, and the more I worked on the project, the more I saw how I could bring all the great things that we do in flight test to flight training, and also the best aspect of what we can experience within the culture of sports. And I was very fortunate to decide to start flying gliders, because that's where I learned how we best learn, or it gave me an opportunity to remember how we best learn, and to recognize that to know ourselves, to know our capabilities, and to realize what we are capable of, we need each other. We need to bring people into our lives that are excited about the things we are excited about, and because we always have blind spots, and by bringing others in, and it doesn't necessarily has to be a more experienced person. It can be somebody you can relate to, like your peers or people that are slightly ahead of you, or even behind you. We learn through play and putting things together and bouncing ideas, interacting. And one of the biggest challenges that the new generation has is we are starting to forget how to interact with each other, and how powerful it is to bring other people into our lives. So the K is very important in the ORKA system, because at the end of the day, to truly fly an aircraft precisely and within its limitations, we have to understand two things. First is, well, what are the capabilities and the limitations of the aircraft we are flying? And the second thing is, what are my own capabilities and my own limitations? And without a feedback loop, without bringing other people in, it's very difficult to understand that. Does that, yeah? I'm going back to flight test. How learning works through when we go fly and come back is really the ability that we have to transfer information, to share information with all the people who care about making progress. So whether that's your instructor, your buddies, your sponsor or mentor, or even your family, if they are supportive, when you put that on the board or the table, I mean, and you can imagine, I pulled this picture on the screen because you can imagine the crew, in this case the instructor and the student, are coming back from the flight, or in the flight the crew is coming back from the flight. But you know how much people are interested to understand what we can learn from that flight? It's not just the crew, it's the people that are working on all sorts of systems and aerodynamics and control laws. And as soon as you present the information on the table, as our minds work to solve problems, that's what the mind does. We just need to put the pieces on the table for the mind to play. And there are two ways to think about culture. One is to believe in people, and the other one is to want to manage. And the cool thing about making information shareable and bringing other people in is that on its own, it starts to create the spark to diagnose much better. Just think about what happens when you go to the doctor. They want to see what's happening, and as they put the pieces together in a board or in front of them, they start to see problems, and their mind eventually just clicks, and they diagnose that the underlying solution is one or the other. And so that's how the mind works. So the vision of what we are doing in FlyORKA is two things: to be a global force for flight training efficiency, and the second thing is to balance the rigor of flight training with play, and remembering how we best learn. And one of the things that we get asked is if how will this improve accessibility? And for flight training on its own is challenging. We're not making it any easier, but FlyORKA improves flight training efficiency in two ways, and in that way it improves accessibility. The first one is that for students who are capable of meeting the standard, it can reduce the excess hours, the extra training to meet the standard. And the cool thing about that is that by reducing that extra training to meet the standard, students can use that investment to advance and to push their envelope, such as pursuing advanced training or more like experience that will really truly expand their capability instead of repeating things and going backwards. And the second thing is for students who are struggling to or unlikely to meet the standard, it can support better diagnosis and support and ideally corrective training and better understanding of why are they struggling. And I mean, and if they realize that flying eventually is not for them, at least the decision can be identified before they spend thousands of dollars. So that's how FlyORKA contributes to reducing the training pathway abandonment and improved accessibility. And the other thing that sometimes they ask us is like, so do you score? Because they see the user interface and because we're talking about assessment and adjustment. Another common question is, well, are you scoring or providing diagnosis through the app? And like that's a big no. We as a flight test engineer, we understand that it is the conditions in which you fly the pilot and whatever you're doing are very, very, very specific. And what we do is support the ability for instructors and students to make those observations themselves. So we are just going to enhance the documentation that they can get so that they can unlock their genius and get better at diagnosis. Yeah, I would say, if you're not in the cockpit, you shouldn't be pretending that you can diagnose or score anything. And also, what are the goals? We can do approaches to land in many different ways depending on our style and whatever the mission at hand.
So, I believe the app has the capability of recording in flight as you're going through a training mission. Okay. So is that something that the student that had it on his phone could easily review after, like the training flights debrief? That way they can compare what the instructor saw to what it looked like in real life, and use that to prepare for the next flight?
Yes, so imagine you come back from the flight and the flight is ready for you to review. It will improve your ability to recall everything that happened. It's a simulation of the flight in very high resolution that is going to even if you think you forgot after the flight, as you play it back, it brings your memory back. So it really improves recall, especially if you revisit the flight within a day. It will bring those details back.
Sort of as an aside, but asking for a recommendation. what do you see as the best way to motivate a student to be excited for the next flight?
Yeah, okay. Well, they are ORKA because the more, when you, like, why do we lose motivation, right? We lose motivation when we lose motivation when we are putting in effort again and again and again and again, and we don't, and we cannot see that we are making progress, or that it's paying off with. So the key of observing, recording, and getting to know yourself every flight a little bit better, assessing and adjusting. If you do that again and again and again and again, you are getting to know yourself. And if you're struggling with something, at least you know, you have the clarity. You are not going to be overthinking or developing self-doubt. So the key here is that we cannot really create motivation, but we can, for those that, but this is how we learn. And if we are learning, that is creating momentum. So in a way, is you are making connections, and it gives you something to look after. When you can see that clarity, that gives you the reason to move forward. You know how to move forward, and the more you do that, the more you break any inertia to keep moving forward, or you develop enough learning momentum to keep going. So the point is, you are going to, we have to assume that the student is motivated when they begin the journey. And the importance of this progress, of this process, goes beyond reliability for flight training. Is at core protecting the human resource, the vocation to develop the talent. So ORKA on its own, observe, record, know yourself, assess and adjust. Just is designed to build momentum, learning momentum. And when you build enough momentum, it's just like physics. You keep going. So how do we sustain it, or build it back up when it drops? It's going to fluctuate. Motivation comes and goes, but a learning system can help you build it up and sustain it. Yeah. Well, thank you all for joining. We'll be sharing this online, so for those you can ask questions and send them on the chat, and I'll answer those as well. Have a good Oscar. Yeah, thank you guys.